Today, the Eagles made a couple of moves. They went ahead and gave both of our fifth-year options to Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's fifth-year option was around $27 million. Nolan Smith's was about $13 million. And I just want to make this video to talk about what this could mean for the Eagles moving forward. And this is the Eagles Rent Request 64. Let's get right into it. As we all know, this just wasn't the best year for Jalen Carter. If you look at here at his 2025 stats, he had 33 total tackles, 3 sacks, 7 pass breakups, and he still made the Pro Bowl, a year that I really don't think he was the best. I feel like Jordan Davis got snubbed, but Davis' numbers were way better, and he looked like the better defensive tackle the entire season. Now, that could be in large part due to Jalen Carter dealing with a shoulder injury early on throughout the season, and it just kind of nagged and nagged and nagged. And then towards the end of the year, once he got some injections in his shoulders, Jalen Carter started to look a lot more like himself. So going into this next season, a healthy Jalen Carter, he's been working out like crazy, trying to get in the best shape he can for this season. I think we could expect a big year for Jalen Carter, especially now that we've picked up his fifth-year option. He's going to be playing for that big extension that he's looking for. And there are a couple of things I think that could be blocking him potentially. For whatever reason, Howie just hasn't gone ahead and extended Jalen Carter yet. Could be to some big contracts that we brought in. Jonathan Grenard, they finally got that trade pulled off. They brought him in on a 4-year, $98 million deal. We extended Jordan Davis very early on in this offseason. He got his big contract. And, we might even be looking to extend Devontae Smith while we have the chance to, with him now being our wide receiver 1. If he's balling out, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they decide to extend him halfway through the season. So there's more important positions right now where the money has to go to, and that could also be a large part of why they didn't extend him. But a thing in particular that I want to talk about as to what I think is holding Jalen Carter back is what he did the opening night of the football season. Right here, you see it when we played the Cowboys. He decided to spit on Dak Prescott at the very start of the game, and he got ejected for it. You cannot do that if you're going to be a captain of this defense, one of the anchors that we're dependent on. And even though we were able to win this game, the Eagles barely pulled it off, and the defense for a large part of the game struggled mightily, especially in the run presence, because we didn't have our guy there. So things like that just can't happen moving forward, especially if we're talking about paying big money for you. We can't give you a contract like we gave Jordan Davis, even more than that, $28-29 million a year, and you're not going to be available to play. I think those little things could have been what stopped Jalen Carter from getting an early extension. Thing I think for Nolan Smith and what's holding him back from getting an earlier extension is it comes down to his health. Nolan Smith just hasn't been healthy enough for the Eagles to trust that they can give him a big contract extension. And at times, especially his rookie year, we've seen the kind of player Nolan Smith could be. I believe his first year in the league, Nolan put up 6.5 sacks in the regular season. And then on the Super Bowl run, we saw the kind of numbers he put up. I'll pull those up right now for you. Nolan Smith in the postseason had 16 total tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble, all in the playoffs. Now, we were thinking that was the time where Nolan Smith was really turning into that elite edge rusher that we thought we were getting out of him. But then comes the Super Bowl, and he tears his tricep in the biggest game of the year. Nolan gutted it out. He finished the game. But due to that injury, we didn't see Nolan Smith again until November of the following season. And he just never looked the same. And I think a large part of that is due to the injuries. So as with Jalen Carter is more so behavior concerns or staying in shape, that sort of thing. With Nolan Smith, I think it's strictly his health that's really held him back from developing into the player that he truly could be. I really think this year for Nolan Smith specifically could be a make or break year because of his injury history and the fact that just last season was so disappointing. I understand that he was hurt. We didn't get him back until November, but even when he came back, Nolan Smith didn't look anything remotely to the player that we have saw on that playoff run and the first season in the league where he put up 6.5 sacks. We didn't see any of those things from him. And because of how bad things were at our edge spots on the team, at the trade deadline, Howie Roseman went ahead and made a trade to acquire Jalen Phillips to really help out that edge rushing spot on the team, which is why I think it's been such a huge concern for them in this offseason and trying to find guys who could be really good edge threats. That's why we went out and got Jonathan Grenard, is because they're not really sure that they can fully trust Nolan Smith right now to handle that load due to injuries, bad play, a multitude of things. It just hasn't been what we thought it would be, spending a first-round pick on someone to be what we thought would be an elite edge rusher in Nolan Smith. So that's really my biggest concern with him, is if he could stay healthy and be on the field, Nolan Smith is one hell of a player because we've seen him play at that high level, but he's got to stay healthy, man. He's got to stay healthy. If you look at the defense this year, looking at the secondary, we got Cooper DeJean, Andrew Makuba. We brought in Reek Woolen, Quinyon Mitchell. Like, the secondary looks amazing on paper. Now we have to see how that plays out. I know what we're going to get from Quinyon and Cooper, but I don't know what we're going to get out of Reek Woolen at the cornerback 2 spot. That's all that's left to be seen. Andrew Makuba too, because he didn't finish the season healthy due to crash test dummy Sidney Brown taking his own player out. We didn't really get to see a full season out of our rookie in Makuba, but when we did see him, he made some plays and then he had rookie mistakes. So from the safety concerns, I know they're working on things to address that as well, but we do have Makuba, who at least looks solid at times. And then at the defensive line, you brought in Grenard. You do have Jordan Davis and Jalen Smith right there. And Nolan Smith, he's a good player, and they might even be bringing back Brandon Graham on a deal where he could just come off the bench, kind of be a vet leader for this team. So the defense, in my opinion, is honestly in a really good spot right now, and we're just doing everything we can to acquire more talent and keep the defense nice and fresh. To talk about that in this video, because one of the reports we have been hearing throughout the season is that how he was looking at considering trades for Jalen Carter, and that teams were interested in acquiring him and hitting up Howie for a trade. But now that we know he's picked up that 5th-year option, he's at least here for this year. And then Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, man, they got to go ball out if they want to get extended. If not, that'd be the end of their time in Philly, I would assume. So with that being said, man, please make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and comment down below so we can talk about this. Let me know what y'all opinions are on this, and y'all have a good night.